Hello everybody, happy Halloween! This is the art teacher here, and we are going to be making a nice bubbling cauldron today. Okay, so grab your markers, grab your colored pencils, grab your crayons, whatever you have. Works perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start by making the bubbles in my cauldron. So I'm just going to start by making a bunch of circles on my paper. Some big, some small. They don't have to be all perfect. We're just going to make bubbles all over it. I can make a couple little connecting lines here so it looks like there's bubbles on top of bubbles, bubbles behind bubbles. Okay, there's no pattern that you need to follow for these. You just got to make a bunch of circles. That's our only goal right now. Circles upon circles. I make a few just kind of floating off here. There we go, it's just floating off the top of my paper. I kind of like the way that looks. A couple more down here. I want it to be bubbling over and oozing over my cauldrons. I'm just gonna keep going with these. Alright, so I feel like this is plenty of bubbles. You can always add in more later if you decide that you want it more of a bubbly look. That's completely fine. So I'm going to start on my left side of my farthest bubble. I'm going to start by making the top of my cauldron. So I'm just going to make a little flattened C. I'm going to pick up my marker anytime I hit a bubble because I don't want to draw straight through them. I want them to look like it's coming out of the cauldron. And then I'm just going to bring it back over to this side. So I have a nice curved line over on this side. And then I want it to make it look like it's an actual cauldron. And they have like a little lip on them. So I'm just going to follow that same line around, bringing it together in the background. There we go, perfect. Alright, then I'm going to make the bottom of my cauldron. So this right now is just like the top of the cauldron, it's the little lip of the cauldron. So I'm going to start not all the way over at the side, I'm going to move down just a little bit. I'm going to make it curve. I'll make a big cauldron pot all the way to the other side. Okay, this one I feel like needs to be a little bit farther out. So I'm going to just bring it out. And then I'll fill up some more bubbles here. Okay, when I color those in, I'll be able to hide my mess up over here. Go. Maybe I'll have it spilling out over on this side. Oh no. Okay, over here too, I need to fill up this open space in my cauldron. I want it to look like it's just filled with bubbles. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to add in a little shine on my cauldron. Just give it some more dimensions. I'm just going to add in a little half moon. So I just made a little sliver here, and then right on top of it, same design. Alright, and then I'm going to start just going ahead and coloring it in. So, my lip of my cauldron, I want to just make it all black. So I'm going to use some different colors for the bubbles here. So, for my cauldron, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and make that all black. There we go. Follow around my new line that I made over here. There we go. And I have the lip of my cauldron right now, and now I need to just fill in the rest of my cauldron. Okay, so when you're coloring, I always like to go with your lines. I feel like it makes it look just a little bit nicer. Cauldron should be curved. So I'm just curving around with my cauldron. If I want to add in a little bit more dimension, I might grab a dark gray or something like that. Just add in, see, a little bit more shadows into my cauldron here. It's not too noticeable, but it'll give us a nice little shadow. Go. Okay, if you accidentally go outside the lines like I did, that's okay. That's why. Always fix it. Just make it a little bit bigger of a pot. That's perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here and I want to keep this little shine in my pot. Okay, so I'm just going to fill up my cauldron here. I always loved seeing those like smoking green bubbly cauldrons around Halloween time. I always thought they looked so cool. I know it's just with dry ice, but I honestly have no idea where to get dry ice. Like, is that at just a supermarket? How does one find that? I always thought it looked so spooky and fun though. Go. Color around those bubbles because I want it to be bubbling over, so I'm going to be able to make sure that I have a couple in there. Maybe I'll use my gray just to fill up some of these lines. You can kind of see my gray coming out over here now on that side. Okay, so I like our cauldron so far. I think it's turning out really great. Now, I'm going to add in a little bit of shadows to some of our bubbles. So I'm going to grab a little bit lighter of a gray, still gray, but I'm just going to pick some, add in just a couple little, see how it's making them look a little bit rounder. If we just started coloring them in, so I'm just going to pick a couple. It doesn't have to be all of them. If you want to do all of them, that's great too. I'm just going to pick a couple, kind of make them a little bit more three-dimensional there. Okay, and then you can choose whatever color you want to make your spooky bubbles. If you want to make them multicolor, go for it. If you want to make them rainbow, super cool. I'm going to stick with that green that I was talking about, that I always loved seeing when I was growing up. So I'm just going to start coloring in all these different bubbles green. If you have different shades of green, that would be great. If you only have one though, that's perfectly fine too. It will look just as spooky and just as great with the same color. Can't forget these ones floating out here. Go. I'm going to fill up all this white space we have in here. Okay, I'm going to actually switch to a different shade of green. Okay, let's try this one, see how this one looks. Ooh, I like it. It's like a little, kind of reminds me of like a witch's color. Like the Wicked Witch of the West and Wizard of Oz. There we go, so I'll just add in some different shades of green here. Just all around my cauldron, choosing some random bubbles. Maybe I'll add in a third shade of green. Let's see. This one looks nice. Ooh, a little bit darker of a green, that's nice. There we go. If you accidentally are green in like a different bubble, that's okay. That'll add in some more dimension too. Okay, so if I want to add in some of this darker green into this bubble, That's great. So if you only have one green though, that's completely fine too. This will look great. All the same color. Or if you want to add in some different ones, that's great too. Alright, and there we go. We have our nice bubbling, boiling cauldron. If you wanted to add on like a little fire underneath of it, grab some reds, some oranges, add on a little fire. If you wanted to add more bubbles, if you decide that this is not enough bubbles, it should be bigger, it should be more bubbling and boiling, you have plenty of space to do that. Go on and just go ahead and add in some more bubbles. If you want them hanging down a little bit lower, so it looks like it's spilling out over the pot more, that's great too. Okay, just don't forget to go back and color these in. Use my bigger side here, there we go. There we go, I'm going to make a nice little circular pattern here. Color in all these beautiful bubbles. Different shades of green. There you go. I hope you had a great time. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a happy Halloween. Have a great day. Thank you so much.